Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's rendition of W3. W try. W something. Weekend Wrestle Wars. This week we'll be covering WWE's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view and New Japan Pro Wrestling's King of Pro Wrestling event. Just finished watching Hell in a Cell. Mixed bag. Totally mixed bag. And I just, that main event. Fuck me. But yeah, we'll just start. We'll just go with it. Right, so obviously the opening match was the Usos versus the New Day for the Tag Team Championships, which was Hell in a Cell. Wow. What an opener. How was that the opener? You just knew, like, the show was going to go downhill because that was the opener. It was amazing. I mean, blimey, let's be honest. The tag team division is surrounded by these two teams. The New Day, obviously, the longest reigning tag team champions of all time, and the Usos, the only other dedicated tag team in the company, who are actually somewhat good. I mean, both teams deserve all the praise in the world for what they went through in that match. I wanted more from Kofi. I thought he would have interfered, but he generally just stuck on the outside. I thought he would have crashed into the cell. I thought he would have done something. Nah, nothing from Kofi, which is very disappointing because Kofi's that spot monkey that always has a really good spot. And he did nothing. So that was disappointing with Kofi. But man, there was so much emotion in this match. So many false finishes. It was fast. It was great. The crowd were into it. It was just amazing. So innovative as well. Some things that have never been done before in this match. The kendo stick, one of the Usos being pinned in the corner of a cell by kendo sticks. Who's never thought of that before? Kendo sticks is like the primary weapon in WWE, and no one's thought of that before. That was genius. The handcuffs and Xavier Woods on the ring post, and the Usos just beating the shit out of him with kendo sticks in front of Kofi. That was amazing. Big E's second win towards the end was absolutely phenomenal. The spears that were coming out of this match was great. So many false finishes. You just didn't know when it was going to end. And wow. I think this is like the first time the tag team championships have been contested inside Hell in a Cell, but wow. The thing is, that is like, what's next after this match? What can these two teams do next? What can the Usos do next? What can the New Day do next? It's just like, where do you go from here? So it'll be interesting to see where do they actually go from. Where they do actually go from here. But wow, and it's just amazing, I actually gave this 4.5 out of 5. It was that good. It was amazing. Brilliant. Next match was Rusev versus Randy Orton. Typical Orton match, really. I was actually rooting for Rusev because, Randy Orton. Rusev did have a pretty decent offense. Some new moves in his arsenal, which were really good. Quite a good few reversals coming out of Rusev's corner. But, of course, at the end, Orton gets the win. Typical Orton match. Boo Orton. 2 out of 5. Next, we had AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin versus Ty Dillinger for the United States Championship. This was a weird matchup because, Baron Corbin's just kind of been buried recently, with the whole Money in the Bank loss, and I believe that Baron Corbin should have won the IC title back at Mania. He was prime. He should have beat Dean Ambrose for it. That was when they should have given him something. Baron Corbin from then is just like everything he does is just questioned from that point. Like why are they pushing him now? Why not then? He was ready then. He was perfect timing then. Now it's just like, oh, okay, they gave Money in the Bank. Why? Okay. And then people did invest in Baron Corbin again because he got the Money in the Bank contract. And they squandered it on him. And then we go into this match. That's why. Why? But we'll get to the match. It was a good match. It was a good, solid match. There wasn't a lot of time where all three men were in the ring doing moves. It was always like a case of like one gets thrown out and then it's 1-on-1, and that's just a typical standard triple threat match. Corbin dominated the majority of the match. Due to his like massive size compared to the other two. The other two look like cruiserweights compared to Baron Corbin. And it's understandable, his size. Styles did his usual thing, did the calf crusher, did his springboard moves, did his top rope moves. Styles being AJ Styles, and there's nothing wrong with that because AJ Styles is amazing. Ty Dillinger just out of place. Really out of place. AJ Styles, yeah. Baron Corbin, not so yeah. But he is that like upper echelon now, like mid-card to upper echelon. So it's like, okay. And then you got Ty Dillinger and it's like, why are you here? Who invited you? But in all fairness, Ty Dillinger, even though he didn't do a lot in the match, what he did do was somewhat impressive move-wise. So respect for Ty Dillinger for that. But in the end, Baron Corbin won the United States Championship. And again, you have to ask, why? Why have they given him the US title now? And why is it AJ Styles the one that has to lose out? I mean, AJ Styles has dropped the W title at the beginning of the year. Won the US title, was it at SummerSlam? And now he's lost the US title in a month. What are they doing with AJ? I mean, come on. And like, what's the plan for Corbin? Is he going to make something of that title? I personally don't see it, but we'll see what happens. I gave this 3 out of 5. Next, we had Charlotte versus Natalya. Now, going into this match, I really enjoyed the prospect of it. Oh, it's a Flair versus a Hart. It's a time-age, rivalry, family rivalry. I'm like, oh, this is going to be really, really good. But it just didn't deliver. Didn't deliver at all. It was really slow, bit botchy. Thought it would have been better. Natalya was dominant throughout the match. I don't know whether Charlotte really injured her leg or that was just the angle they were going with. But Charlotte's moonsault's always good to see. But did Natalya just not catch her right? Because she didn't hit Natalya at all. Natalya just kind of like stood aside and just went with it, and it's like, why? And then Natty just like decides to get a chair and just hit Charlotte with it, because why not? I mean, what? You got an injured Charlotte, you've been dominating the match, but you decide to get DQ'd on purpose. Why? Why do that? This made no sense, and for that reason, 2 out of 5. Bit poor, really poor. Right, the next segment. The fuck is the Fashion Police? No, not the Fashion Police. The Fashion Files. What is this? Nonsense. It's not even funny. Go away. And what you're doing with the Ascension, should be ashamed of yourselves. Go away and rethink your lives. Okay, next we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal for the WWE Championship. Again, really under-delivered. Really disappointing in this match, really. Not for the time used in that match. Not a lot happened for me to like go, ooh, wow. I've always respected Jinder Mahal for what he did, where he is now, and how ripped he is. And if you look at the man, he looks like a beast. He looks like championship material, but he's just not delivering it in the ring, and it's annoying. And what annoys me even more is that the Shinsuke Nakamura that I'm watching in this match is not the Shinsuke Nakamura that was in NXT, and it was definitely not the Shinsuke Nakamura that I watched in New Japan. And that's really annoying me. And it's just, it's very poor and it's very annoying. It's quite upsetting. Um, and I know it's like the payday and everything, but then you really got to think about, you know, am I really like better off here in the WWE? I think Nakamura, what he's doing now, the way he's doing his art form, is poor compared to what he did in New Japan. And I know it's not his fault. I know it's not his fault, but I'd really consider maybe running out your contract if that's how you're going to do your matches, because that's just poor, very poor. And I gave that 2 out of 5. Next was Bobby Roode versus Dolph Ziggler. But again, just boring, absolute boring. Again, Bobby Roode hasn't shown that spark that he had in NXT since coming up, and he's just not delivering. And it's this NXT curse where the guys that are amazing in NXT that come up to the main roster are just not being able to do the same craft that they did in NXT, and it's again annoying. Um, Dolph Ziggler's current gimmick, the no gimmick thing, Michael Gilbert, just saying it. And if you don't know who Michael Gilbert is, it is Mikey Whiplash's alter ego, Michael Gilbert, whose gimmick was that he hates gimmicks. And he used to come out to no music, black, black, bland, trunks, default, no personality, nothing, just pure wrestling. And this is what Dolph Ziggler's doing, and it's boring. It's boring. The crowd went into it. No one cares. What they've done to Dolph Ziggler is just poor. Again, ruined Dolph Ziggler. If I was Dolph Ziggler, I'd pull a Cody Rhodes. I'd just run my contract down and go to Ring of Honor or New Japan. I'm sure one of those companies would take Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler is money, and you're squandered him. Poor. And I'm scared for Bobby Roode, because if that's his performance, poor. Very poor. But Bobby Roode got the win. But again, what next for Bobby Roode? The only thing I could think of Bobby Roode is pushing him for the US title. Would Baron Corbin versus Bobby Roode work? I'm not entirely sure. But again, 2 out of 5. Very poor match. Very poor match. Next was Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon. And wow. Fucking amazing. That's all I have to say about that. I mean, where do you even begin about that match? I mean, like, it literally started straight away. Started outside the ring. Shane McMahon was beaten down on Kevin Owens. Went into the ring, locked the cage door. Everything in the ring, the wrestling in the ring was amazing. Everything in the ring was amazing. Everything out around the ring was amazing. The table shots, the steel steps, the whatever weapons were there, the trash can, coast to coast. Everything that Shane McMahon did, that Kevin Owens did in that ring, was pure gold, and just amazing. And then they go outside the ring, and everything they did outside the ring was amazing. And then they got into the top of the Hell in a Cell. I think this is generally the longest anyone has stayed on top of the Hell in a Cell and actually fought each other. They must have been up there for at least 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, at least. Wow. Amazing match. Amazing match. Obviously, Shane McMahon can't go properly as he used to. The man's 47 years of age. But he still pulled out the bag. He was still amazing. It was just, fuck me. Everything about this match was just amazing. Amazing. Kevin Owens' bump onto the table from halfway up the cell. Great stuff. Great stuff. The bumps on top of the cell was amazing. The bumps in the ring were amazing. The bumps around the ring was amazing. This is arguably the best Hell in a Cell match of all time. And there's only one other Hell in a Cell, in my opinion, that could rival that one, and that is the Hell in a Cell from Mania 28, which was Triple H versus Undertaker with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, because the story in that was just a 4-year build in that story, and that's that story. But this one was just, if that match does not push Kevin Owens into the WWE title picture, then nothing will. That man deserves to go into Mania next year as WWE champion. I don't care what no one says. That man runs the place. Not Jinder Mahal, not Nakamura, not AJ Styles. Kevin Owens owns SmackDown purely from that match. Obviously, everyone knows what the ending is. Owens on the table. McMahon jumps on the top of Hell in a Cell. Sami Zayn saved Kevin Owens. And don't get me wrong, that's amazing. Because obviously the history between those two, El Generico and Steen. But they were literally just fighting a couple of weeks ago in a brutal match. And they've been fighting constantly for the past, was it 3 years they've been in the E now? Is Sami Zayn heel turning? Because the reaction that Sami Zayn gave was like, did I really just do this? What the fuck have I done? And it's like, right, he just saved, Owens, and now he's walking away, and Shane McMahon's like on the floor. He's dead. He's literally dead. He's fucking dead anywhere. And I literally just read the Shane's health report, if it's real or not. I don't know. Broken ribs, neck injuries, back injuries, everything else on top, and it's just like, Shane, mate, quit it. This is like, you've done back-to-back years in Hell in a Cell now, and it's just like, go away. You're done. As much as I love Shane McMahon, you're done, mate. You can't keep on doing that. But also at the same point, when I think about Shane McMahon, and I think about his 2 matches he's had this year, he's going with the young guys. He's going with AJ Styles, who's a legend in his own right, and now he's gone with Kevin Owens, who were the 2 ROH names. And it's like, why is Shane McMahon wrestling these guys? Interesting. But the repercussions coming out of this match is going to be like, I mean, like, is Zayn teaming with Owens? Is Zayn turning heel? Are we going to see the return of Steen and Generico? Well, obviously not Steen and Generico. But it's just, what is happening going forward? It's all unknown. Kevin Owens deserves to be in that title shot, deserves to be. But I can just see Owens. I can generally just see Owens being Triple H's guy next year at Mania. Even though Triple H is on Raw, is a Raw guy. But, Triple H always has that guy that he puts over at Mania. And this is a very similar story to Mania 25, where Randy Orton attacked Mr. McMahon, attacked Shane McMahon, and, then attacked Stephanie, and Triple H came and beat Randy Orton at Mania. This is a very similar story, where Kevin Owens beat up Mr. McMahon, and now he's beating up Shane McMahon. And what next? Is it going to be a lengthy thing now? Is Triple H going to start feuding with Owens at the Rumble time and, defending the McMahon's honor? Is it going to lead into Mania? And then obviously Triple H loses, because that's what Triple H does. He rivals with a young guy, puts him over at Mania. What's going on? What is next for Kevin Owens? What is next for Sami Zayn? But, fuck me, what a match. And I actually gave that 6 out of 5. I gave it 6 out of 5. 6 out of 5. No, I'm going to repeat that. 6 out of 5. Best Hell in a Cell match, arguably, of all time. Minus the Mania 28 one. But, honestly, Kevin Owens needs to be WWE Champion. Needs to walk in to WrestleMania as WWE Champion. And retain as WWE Champion. Actually, no, tell a lie. Kevin Owens needs to win the Royal Rumble and win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Give it to Kevin Owens. Give it to Kevin Owens. Although saying that SmackDown won it this year, so I'm assuming Raw's going to win it next year. Give it to Kevin Owens. You won't regret it. Right, so like I said, it was a mixed bag, mainly poor, mainly poor. Um, Actually, yeah, it was the two Hell in a Cell matches that actually saved the pay per view. The rest was all 2 out of 5s. Very, very poor, very poor. But yeah, that's that card. And segment 1 of W Try done for this week. Tomorrow night I'll be watching New Japan's King of Pro Wrestling and see where we go from there. Okay, so see you in the next segment, peeps. Hey guys, so I've just finishing what? I just finished watching New Japan's event, King of Pro Wrestling. Now, Hell in a Cell was on Sunday night, and when Hell in a Cell finished, due to the time difference, like 3 or 4 hours later, New Japan's event aired. Yeah, so they were literally a few hours apart, and what an event! What an event! Wow. Okay, so we're just gonna start things rolling. The opening contest was Bad Luck Fale, Leo Tonga, and Yujiro Takahashi versus Hiromu Takahashi, Bushi, and Sanada. Yeah, no, it was a good solid match, great opener, very fast paced. Wasn't too long, but it didn't need to be long. It did its job. My favourite part was the fact that Daryl intervened at the end, and if you don't know who Daryl is, just leave the video because there's no point in ever saying it. Daryl is the pet cat of Hiromu. Daryl interfered at the end, causing Bad Luck Fale to take the fall. Yeah, and you know what? It was just a fun little match, and I gave it 3 out of 5 because it did its job and it was good. Next, we had Toriano and Hiroki Goto, yeah, versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Minoru Suzuki. You know what? This again was a great, solid match. It did its job. I mean, you know, Suzuki and Sabre came out dominant at the start. They were pretty dominant throughout the whole entire match. I love Toriano. I just love Toriano to pieces. You know, this is you know, I was a massive Santino Marella fan, and Toriano just does his job so great. It's amazing. Zack Sabre Jr. did his usual shtick. He did his usual technical stuff, which can be quite boring and tedious at times. The match was really decent. Goto really reminds me of. I was trying to like every time I watch Goto, he reminds me of something, and I've been trying to place it for ages. Hiroki Goto reminds me of a Klingon warrior. Yes, that is a Star Trek reference. He's just this aura about him, and like the way he dresses, and the logo that he has really resembles a Klingon logo, and it's just something that I picked up on, and I really like that. What I also liked in this match is that Toriano actually showed a bit of backbone, especially against Minoru Suzuki. Not a lot of people do that against Minoru Suzuki. And the fact that Toriano had the balls to grab the man's hair of what he has and pull him back, well done, Toriano. The team of Yano and Goto won in the end due to a count out after Suzuki was actually tying Yano up outside of the ring via a rope. Yano went for the low blow and got inside the ring for the count out. And you know what? It was an enjoyable match, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. Yano stole the never openweight belt at the end, so which just makes me think, is Toru Yano going to challenge Minoru Suzuki for the never openweight championship? Surely not. Who knows? Again, I gave this 3 out of 5. It did its job, and it was good. Next was the team of Ricochet, and Taguchi versus Roppongi 3K, who we don't know who it is. And you know what? I'll say it now, it was a fucking amazing match. Amazing match. Okay, so this is the team of Sho and Yo. From what I could make out from commentary, these are a couple of young lions that have just made their main roster debut, and they've just been touring around the world getting some experience. And wow, they really impressed me. I love the guys. There were dives, there were fast paced, there were near falls. Um, what really impressed me about this team is the fact that they look like a tag team, they act like a tag team, they have a tag team finishers. They just look the part, and it just looks. The pair of them just look amazing. Yo and Show, odd. So it's two new members of Chaos. Um, what I also like is the fact that they look like, this is probably their gimmick, but they look like J-pop idols. So you know what? It just works. It works really well. And Rocky Romero is obviously their manager, and it was just an amazing match. And I would honestly go and check this match out just because it was just amazing, especially for two debuting guys. To take Ricochet and Taguchi to the limit is just amazing. Yo and Show won, so they are the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions on their debut match. Their debut match. Wow. Um, it was just great. It was brilliant. Um, I would say that this is a tag team to generally watch out for in the future, especially against the Young Bucks. Roppongi 3K versus the Young Bucks would, I think, be a magical thing to witness. So I hope that's going to be a match in the future. Um, this was just a brilliant match, and I gave this 4 out of 5 because I thought it was just great. I really did. Um, Next, we have the Guerrillas of Destiny versus the Killer Elite Squad versus War Machine. Whew. So this is the fourth time this match has happened in 5 weeks on pay-per-view. And I went into this match thinking it was going to be boring, and because I've seen this match 4 times now in 5 weeks, I don't need to see it again. But it delivered. It really delivered. It was a tornado tag match, so obviously it means no DQ. All members of both teams can be in the ring at the same time. It just didn't matter, and you know what? It was just amazing. Um, it just again, the Guerrillas of Destiny just looked out of place. You've got the Killer Elite Squad, consisting of Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer, who are like 6 foot something, absolute beasts of men, and then you got War Machine, Hanson and Rowe, again, who are just beasts of men. And then you got the Guerrillas of Destiny, who generally just look like cruiserweights compared to these guys. So they looked out of place. But again, they had their moments. Well, a lot of moments, but they had their moments. And, they delivered. They were the first team eliminated, unfortunately. But War Machine and Killer Elite Squad, they're just magic in the ring together. I know War Machine and the Young Bucks have they make some magic, but War Machine and Killer Elite Squad, I think, are really, really great. They're brilliant workers together. Gorillas, just fuck off. But this match had everything. This match had full finishes, it had dives, there was brawling outside the ring, brawling in the crowd, table spots, chair spots, trash can spots. It had all the spots you wanted. Oh, mate. Reversals galore, false finishes. And you know what? Killer Elite Squad rightfully retained. Those guys are just amazing. Well deserving of the win. But obviously now we're going to go into the World Tag League. Who can possibly defeat the Killer Elite Squad? The only team that I can think of is War Machine. There aren't another team of that caliber or that size that could take them. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the World Tag League. What tag teams are going to be in it? Is it just going to be a mishmash of teams? And see if they do actually manage to beat the Killer Elite Squad. Be very interesting to see that. And I give that 4 out of 5 because it was bloody good. Okay, next match. Right, so we had Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and Marty Scurll. Now, wow, what a team! Can I just say his names again? Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, Marty Scurll. Wow. So, who's going to face these guys? These guys are going to be the team of Jado, okay. So, next name be better. Next name. Trent Beretta. Okay. And next name's gonna be amazing, because you get Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and Mike Scurll, like top 3 names in the world. Who else is going to be in this team? Yoshihashi. So you've got, the best wrestler in the world, the Ring of Honor world champion, and possibly arguably one of the best British guys in the world, Mike Scale, in the Bullet Club, against Yoshihashi, Trent Beretta, and Jado. What? You, that's the team you came up with to face three of the top people in the world. What is wrong with you? You know what? But at the end of the day, it was a good, solid match, and it did its job. And obviously, Bullet Club dominated. It's like it's the fucking Kenny Omega, with Cody Rhodes. You know what? At the end of the day, Yoshihashi did actually do a good showing. And obviously, this is leading into the match against Yoshihashi and Kenny Omega for the IWGP United States Championship, which is going to be defended at Ring of Honor Global Wars next week. So this is just a build for that. And it did its job. It was right. It was fun. I gave it 3 out of 5. And you know what? The trio of Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, and Marty Scurll was the trio I never thought I needed. I need them now. And you know what? I want them to go for the never open weight 6-man tag titles. Because all three of them were just magic in the ring. And the chemistry that all three of them in the ring had was just spot on. Well played. Well played indeed. Next match, we had Togi Makabe versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Togi Makabe and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kota Ibushi and Juice Robinson. Again, a great solid match. Did its job. It was slow in places, but again, it delivered. Obviously, this again is leading up to the Intercontinental title match between Tanahashi and Kota Ibushi. You know what? All guys delivered, and it was just a fun little match. And Juice got the pin, which was surprising because the match was supposed to be based on Ibushi and Tanahashi, and Juice got the pin. But obviously, they had to have Juice win because coming off the back of that 5-star match with Kenny Omega 2 weeks ago, Juice had to look strong coming out of that match, and he did look strong coming out of that match. So well done, Juice Robinson. And again, I gave that 3 out of 5 because it was a solid match. Next, we had Kushida versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Now, going into this match, Will Ospreay has lost 4 matches against Kushida in the past year and a bit. 2 of those being for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. One of them being in the final of the Best of Super Juniors this year, and one of them being in the WCPW World Cup over here this year. So going into this, the story was that Will Ospreay could not beat Kushida. And I actually saw the result on my Twitter timeline yesterday morning. And I was annoyed and happy at the same time. Annoyed because I saw the spoiler, and happy because oh my god, he's done it. Obviously, everyone knows that I'm a massive Will Ospreay fan because obviously I've watched Will Ospreay since the start of his singles run. From his tag team in the Swords of Essex to them breaking up to his singles run to his Progress Championship reign, and to him going to Ring of Honor, him doing New Japan, and everything in between. And to watch someone grow as Will Ospreay has, just gives you that sense of pride knowing that he's gone this far. And it gutted me that he didn't win it the first time. It gutted me that he didn't win it the second time. I was ecstatic when he won the Best of Super Juniors last year. Gutted that he didn't win it 2 times in a row. But this match was everything and everything. There was so much emotion in this match. There was spots galore. It was fast paced. There was so much going on. Kushida pulled everything out. Will Ospreay pulled everything out that he could possibly pull out. And you know what? He got the win. And the emotion that boy had was just ecstatic. The emotion that I had was ecstatic. I mean, just to see him, finally get a major title. I mean, I know he's been Ring of Honor TV champion, but he had it for 48 hours. That doesn't count. He's got this title. He has a major title in the world of professional wrestling. That's amazing. I mean, obviously, depending on his run and how long he is the champion for, he's made. He's made it. As far as I'm concerned, he's made it. Now he's been given that title. Hopefully, they give him a long run, at least till Wrestle Kingdom. And you know he's gonna own it. I hope he owns it. Um, just so much. I mean, you know what? I never knew this before, but you know that move that Ospreay has, where his opponent's he's standing on the middle rope in the turnbuckle, and he pulls their head down and super kicks them. I never knew that it was called a cheeky Nando's, and the fact that I heard Kevin Kelly say the word cheeky Nando's had me in hysterics. Just saying. Um, so cheeky Nando's was said by an American commentator on a Japanese pay-per-view. What about that? Yeah, no, Ospreay is rightly deserving of that belt, and I can't. No one says Kushida's amazing in his own right, but he is their go-to guy when it comes to the junior division, and you know that's fine. But when you got Ospreay waiting there, who was ready and willing and able to, you give it to Ospreay, and they've given it to Ospreay now. But please give them a run. Obviously, after the match, they're doing a running gag at the moment where Hiromu Takahashi comes out, goes to challenge, and then just gets beaten up before he challenges that person. Obviously, last time it was Ospreay that came down and beat up Takahashi. This time, Marty Scurll came down and beat up Takahashi. And then Marty Scurll cut a promo on Ospreay, and the next challenge for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title is Marty Scurll. Now, I'm in two minds about this. Hooray, you know, Marty Scurll versus Will Ospreay for the Junior Heavyweight title. Amazing. You know, seeing their rivalry in so many companies. Progress, Rev Pro, Ring of Honor. Now it's in New Japan. You know, so I've seen them two wrestlers build themselves from their days here in the UK, and again, a great thing, great opportunity to watch. But there's this thing when it comes to Marty and Will. Will Ospreay has this tendency to always drop the belt to Marty. Will Ospreay was the Progress Heavyweight Championship. He dropped it to Marty. Will Ospreay was the Ring of Honor TV title, TV Championship. Dropped it to Marty. So now we have Will Ospreay as the Junior Heavyweight champion, even. That's not my. And Marty Scurll is challenging for it. I'm scared that he's going to drop it to Marty again. And that scares me. I like Marty, don't get me wrong, he's great. He's not my favourite guy. He's not my cup of tea, but I love what he does. He's great what he does. But I'm pro Ospreay. Always have been pro Ospreay, and I love Ospreay. So Ospreay better beat Scurll, and he better walk into Wrestle Kingdom as Junior Heavyweight Champion. And I'm hoping he does walk out of Wrestle Kingdom as Junior Heavyweight Champion. And you know what? I gave that 4 out of 5 because it was just a phenomenal match. Okay, now is where it gets shit. We go to our first main event, which is Tetsuya Naito versus Tomohiro Ishii for the contract to the Wrestle Kingdom main event. Going into this match, I thought it would be amazing. You know, Naito amazing, Ishii amazing. And it didn't deliver. I mean, obviously, Naito was dominant throughout the entire match. Whenever Ishii would get a move in, Naito would just reverse it. You know, Ishii did his thing where, you know, Naito hit him, no reaction, hit him again, no reaction, hit him again, then he fell, and then he'd go for the pin. But Ishii just kept on kicking out of everything, but not having any offense. And it just went on for too long. And I thought that was like a shame. Because Ishii's like a right good wrestler. He's not the Ishii that I know, the one that was in this match. And yeah, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand where they were coming from with that. nah, just didn't deliver. It was alright, but no, not for me. Sorry, gave it a 2 out of 5. The next was the actual main event, which was Kazuchika Okada versus Evil for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Again, didn't deliver. It didn't deliver. Evil dominated the entire match. The entire match. Whatever Okada did, Evil reversed. False finishes everywhere. Okada did have a little bit of offense, but not a lot. It was all Evil. I mean, there was this one spot where Okada is on the floor ringside and Evil is across the barrier. Okada went for a crossbody. Evil threw a chair at him. Okada ducked and then went for the crossbody. That was literally Okada's only offense that was worth mentioning. And again, really poor, really bad. Because then obviously Super Cena syndrome happens. Okada pulls out a couple of moves at the end. 1, 2, 3, gets the pin. Why? Poor showing. And the thing is, though, like those two matches went on for about, but I would say at least between 18 and 25 minutes each, and it was just of one person beating down the other with a bullshit result. And yeah, it was really poor for the main event. Again, I gave that 2 out of 5. Yeah, and then obviously, as obviously be the New Japan event, at the end of the New Japan event, whoever wins the main event gets to cut a promo, makes a speech. Hooray! Okada gets a speech. Out comes Naito. And of course, these two guys, now it's confirmed that it'll be Naito versus Okada at the Tokyo Dome for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight. Actual Heavyweight Championship. Now the fun starts. Now we are officially on the road to Wrestle Kingdom. Obviously, they're talking in Japanese. I've got no clue what they're saying. But whatever it is, the crowd seem to be into it. Oh, the crowd. Well, obviously, everyone knows what a Japanese crowd's like. They're very respectful. They're like, oh, yes, it's lovely. You'll get a few chants here and there. The crowd were on fire the entire event. Honestly, right, there was not a quiet time in this show. Well, I think that the crowd weren't into it. The crowd were into it the entire way. So the crowd are my MVP of this night. Yeah. So apart from those two those two last matches, the event was amazing. The event was great. You know what? And yeah, it was just great. I think I'm gonna have a hard time picking my top 5 matches out of the two events. So leave me to it, and I'll come back to you. Hi guys. Okay, right. So my top 5 matches from both King of Pro Wrestling and Hell in a Cell. Right, I think at number 5 we're going to go with Roppongi 3K versus Ricochet and Taguchi. Yeah, no, it was just a cracking match. The debuting Yo and Show. Show and Yo. We'll go with that. Absolutely knocked out of the park, and like I said, I would love them to face the Young Bucks and just, once they establish themselves a bit more as the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions, I'm sure we'll get them versus Young Bucks at some point. Because, it's the Young Bucks, they always go for the tag titles. They'll probably face them Wrestle Kingdom, let's be honest. It's bound to happen. Yep, so that's my number 5. At number 4. Number 4, we're going to go with the Guerrillas of Destiny versus the Killer Elite Squad versus War Machine. Again, no need to explain this. It was just a brutal match. Absolutely fantastic. Went the distance, and you know what? It delivered. So that was my number 4. At number 3. At number 3 is the Usos versus the New Day, Hell in a Cell for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Again, nothing to say here. It was a cracking match. And you know what? Both teams are deserving of being tag team champions. And they own the tag team division. on both Raw and SmackDown, because there's no one on Raw and there's really no one else on SmackDown. Let's be honest. So that's my number 3. At number 2 is clearly Kushida versus Will Ospreay. And trust me, I was fighting and I was fighting, and I really wanted to put this as my number 1, but I couldn't put it as my number 1. I really wanted to. Again, Kushida and Ospreay. Ospreay being my boy, being he's Bay. Ospreay is Bay. I went there. And I couldn't be more happier for the guy. Well deserving. The guy will now be established in that higher echelon of professional wrestling in the world. So fuck me, I love Will Ospreay. Well done. And of course, my number 1 being Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon, Hell in a Cell. That match. There will never be a better Hell in a Cell than that match. The fact that that in the ring stuff was amazing, the outside the ring stuff was amazing, outside the cell was amazing, on top of the cell was amazing. That end dive, Shane McMahon just dead. With Sami Zayn's interference, all the indie fans are just marking out like Zayn and Owens, Generico and Steen together. Wow, just jizz everywhere. And like I said, I gave that match 6 out of 5 stars, and it is arguably the best Hell in a Cell match of all time. And man, there was no way that was going to be defeated. Tell you what, if you took those 2 Hell in a Cell matches and you stuck them in this New Japan event, and you scrapped Naito Ishii and Evil Okada, you'd have the best pay-per-view in the world. Honest to God, because the rest of that Hell in a Cell card was shit apart from those 2 matches. And these 2 matches were shit compared to the rest of the card on New Japan. So, yeah, Owens and Shane, man. Round of applause, guys. You totally deserve being my match of the weekend. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Go watch both events. Or just go and watch those 2 Hell in a Cell matches and this event. Yeah, that's my number 1 match of the weekend. So, we go on to who won the Weekend Wrestle Wars this weekend. Was it WWE? Was it New Japan? And I can gladly say that it was New Japan. New Japan's card was just consistent throughout. I mean, apart from those 2 main events, I rated every single match on that card. And there was 8 matches, 4 to 3 stars, 3 to 4 stars. There, it was just so consistent, fun. Again, we're going back to last week where I said Ring of Honor was very consistent, very good, very entertaining. New Japan was just, again, very good, it was great even, it was great, consistent, entertaining, and it was near on perfection, again, apart from those 2 main events. So, well done New Japan for entertaining me this weekend. And yeah, thank you. So, please go watch New Japan King of Pro Wrestling. My next W3, I think, is next week. Ring of Honor special. As everyone knows, it's Ring of Honor Global Wars next week. 4-day event. Yes, there is an event for 4 days straight. One in a different city every day. Yes. But I don't know. As far as I'm aware, day 1 is only to a live audience. Day 2 and day 3 is Ring of Honor online, on demand only. And day 4 is the pay-per-view. So I was hoping to review all 4 days and see who had the best one. But I don't know if that's possible. So I don't know when my next if it works out, we'll have a W3 next week. If it doesn't, I'm not too sure when my next W3 will be. TLC in just under 2 weeks' time. I don't know when the next New Japan event is. I know it's Power Struggle, but I don't know when. And the next Ring of Honor event, I think, is Final Battle in December. After that, surely not. That's a long time. But yeah, like I said, go watch New Japan's King of Pro Wrestling and check out that Hell in a Cell match. And Catch you later.